St. Louis, City Boys, what it do? From the arch to the booth, we talk about you. City Boys in the loop.
Shout out to the St. Louis City Boys podcast.
They're in your head just like Roman Berkey. This is a City Boys podcast.
City leads you into the City Boys podcast right now.
Kings, queens, and in-betweens, welcome back to the City Boys podcast. We got a banger of an episode for you today because we're chatting about my own personal experience at a World Cup match. Oh my God, I still can barely believe it even happened.
That's insane. Cross it off the bucket list. Dream come true material, Gray.
Really, I'm still on cloud nine. Well, before we get into it, allow me to introduce myself and my co-host. I'm Grayson Knight, the bald one. I'm covering up today. It was a little hot out. And I got my co-host Ethan with me tonight. How are you doing, brother?
It's another day in paradise, Grayson. Unfortunately, Jacob's not here. He's actually down in Paraguay partying with the Paraguayans after their win over Germany, which we're filming right after. But I am trying to just stay happy for you and not get jealous, my friend. You attended an all-time World Cup match in my eyes. This game, the game you were at, which we will soon to reveal, had so many storylines surrounding it, and the city really showed out. I can't wait to hear all about it, being at the game and just what that was like, man, because the World Cup it's every soccer fan's dream. So let's hear about you living it out firsthand, dude.
No, really, what you said earlier about it being a bucket list dream item. There were points in my life where I didn't know if I would ever see a World Cup match. Um, but here we are. Here we are. Amazing.
There's two times in Grayson's life. There's pre-World Cup watching in person and post-World Cup watching. Now you're a totally different man.
I really
You have a
am.
different glow about you this
I'm,
episode,
I kind of look a
Grayson.
little tan. It might just be the lighting. I don't know. It was dark outside, and I did not get sunburned at this game, so that was a positive. But
My friend, yeah, tell us, where were you? Where in the
yeah,
world was Grayson Knight?
so I wasn't too far. I was only in Kansas City. The match was at Arrowhead, and if you're clocking all the clues here, the match was on Saturday at 9 p.m. It was Algeria versus Austria. So going into it, I knew this was going to be a very even game. Both teams are very strong, but not like a world class like World Cup like like front runner.
Yeah, definitely
They're
not.
kind of both dark horses.
Yeah, at the best, they're dark
Yeah, at the
horses.
best. And I was actually explaining this to the lady sitting next to me. She was like, "So, what? Tell me about the teams. Are they good? What's going on?" And I kind of explained it. So, Algeria has I don't know, I don't think I'd call him world class anymore, but had a world class player in Riyad Mahrez.
Definitely.
They have a couple other good players as well, but Austria has a more like a couple of really good players. So Algeria has the best player on the field, but Austria has a couple of really good players. So they're more of a team, I felt like. But Algeria would go on to control most of this match. More on that later. But it was a fantastic experience. It was a 4-hour drive over there from St. Louis, of course. And I got to shout her out, the homie, best friend of the pod at this point. Our good friend Katie, got her tickets through work at Anheuser-Busch. So super awesome, and not to mention incredible views. We were in
Oh
row
yeah.
19. Um, so I'll throw up a photo here, but I do want to start the story at the beginning of our journey. We did take the bus to the stadium. So how that works is we had to stop at a fan specified bus station close to downtown. and then take the bus all the way to the um, Arrowhead Stadium.
So, Grayson, in the early stages of the group stage, there was a lot being made about the travel into the stadium, specifically in Kansas City. I've seen that the city has been a little upset about how they're handling transportation. But what was your experience like getting to the actual stadium and getting there? Because I'm so curious, like, getting that seems a little anxiety inducing to me. The fact that, like,
Yeah.
all right, I can't just go and park myself at
Well,
the
you
stadium or
can. You
walk.
could.
You could, I suppose,
I
for the
was a bit
extra
more
80 to
stressed.
$100 though.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd be more stressed if I had to worry about parking and had to worry about getting out of there after the game.
Oof, yeah.
But I will say I was very impressed with Kansas City's transportation. I was a little worried when I walked up to the first queue of the day and saw hundreds and hundreds of people in a line winding through. But spirits were high. We were moving pretty fast. So no one was really trying to cut in line or anything. Maybe a few. But uh, yeah, I think there were a lot of workers there who cared a lot. You know, shout out the lady with the megaphone. I did not know her name, but she was really making things happen, getting people in the places they need to be. Although she did scare me a little bit because multiple times on the megaphone she was like, "All right, everyone, we need to get these buses loaded because the last bus is coming up. We're on a deadline." And I was like, "Ah."
Well, I
Meanwhile,
better be on that bus.
still at the very front of the line. So I was like, "Oh, geez." But we just kind of snaked through this parking lot. Of course, like I said, everything was moving fast. I think it took us 30 minutes to get through that line and onto the
Not bad.
bus. The bus was so nice. It was a very nice charter bus, air conditioned. People in there were having a ball. Like it was a great time. I think it was a little 10-minute drive over to the stadium. And then getting out into the parking lot of the stadium was another really big line. So
Mm,
I was kind of worried. I think we got, so kickoff, of course, was at 9. So we got there, I think, at 6:30-ish, 6:40-ish. So I was like, we're getting there. And there's some things I want to get done before we go get to our seats. So I was like a little stressed, but you're at a World Cup game. I should also mention when Katie told me about bringing me to the match, the next night I had a nightmare that I go to the World Cup game and miss the match because I was waiting in line the whole time.
mm, mm.
Terrifying. Glad to report that did not happen. So we get in the second queue of the day, which is just to get into the first security checkpoint and get into the fan festivities.
Mm.
So luckily, we actually had a really cool Minnesota United fan right behind us in line that Katie and I hit it off with. Really cool guy. Don't remember his name, but shout out to you. Um, and we just kind of chatted about the MLS and his experience with, getting to the Midwest down here. And match day, and that line took 5 minutes, even though it was
Okay.
much longer than the bus line. Just because security was doing a great job of moving people through. There really wasn't too many people trying to sneak stuff in past security, so shout out everyone for
Good.
being good fans. And then we get into the fan festival area. So this is where I really start to get excited because there's music playing, and it's not just classic American music. They're playing Algerian music. They're playing
Okay.
Austrian music. Fans are having a blast. There are booths everywhere. You can buy drinks from vendors. Some of the booths that I saw, uh, they had a blow-up soccer pitch that little kids were playing matches on. It was like
Oh, that's
3v3
fun.
matches, so that was pretty fun. And there were a couple things that I saw on social media that I really wanted to get done before we got into the match. So, number one, get a beer. The beer was $25. So that
Oof.
was not great. Not great, but honestly, not as bad as it could have been.
I
Uh, I
guess.
guess, like that's not something to be excited about, but it's kind of expected going to American sporting events that the drinks are going to be expensive. So, not great, but it is what it is. So, we get some drinks, we walk through the line, and we were trying to find the FIFA fan ID. I had no idea where to get one.
Hmm.
Um, so we're going around asking workers, where can we get this? Where can we get this? And they keep telling us different things. Like they're like, "Oh,
Whoa.
go in that line." We go there, there's no line there, and they're not handing out anything. So I was like, whatever." So we do know where one item is, and that is the World Cup charm bracelets that were
Ooh.
from, I believe yeah, Bank of America were handing them out. So we get into the second to last line of the day. Well, yeah, pretty much second to last line of the day. And we're getting to, I think it's like 7:30 at this point, and it's we're getting close to kickoff.
Yeah, it's 90
I'm
minutes away.
I'm itching to get in the stadium, but I wanted to get these charms. So we're in line. We're watching Portugal versus Colombia play at the time. Great match. And then we get to the line, and turns out you don't get one charm bracelet, you get two. So the
Oh,
first one I got is just the generic World Cup one. Let me show it off here. So
okay.
it's got all the three mascots. So USA's mascot, Mexico's mascot, Canada's mascot. Bank of America logo, corporate sponsor, and then the World Cup trophy. Pretty sweet.
That is really cool.
And it's good quality. It's got a little magnet on there, so it's pretty nice. And then you go around the corner and you get to pick one specified for a country. So I was very excited for this one, and but they did not have too many options left because we were a little bit late. But they had Algeria, Austria, Canada, and I think one other team, but we wanted Cape Verde or USA, and they didn't
Yeah.
have either. So I ended up getting Austria, but it's not super customized to be Austrian. Like it's literally only got this charm, which is
The
abbreviated
AUT. Okay.
AUT, whatever. And then we got a cleat, a goalkeeper glove, the Trionda,
Very cool.
and then a little captain's armband.
That's also really cool.
Pretty slick. I like that one too. So we got those. And then made our way into the stadium. All right, City fam, we are we're technically not in the stadium, but we made it through security, so that's a big thing. We got some trinkets, we got some drip. I can hear it. We're 30 minutes from kickoff. Let's fucking go, baby. Stadium security was also very well done. But I was told that you get the fan ID right when you walk in the stadium. I could not find it. So I was
Oh.
stressed. So, anyways, we decide to grab some drinks, grab some snacks, and start heading to the seats. And I have never been in Arrowhead Stadium before. It is beautiful and massive.
Yeah, it looks very large on
Yeah,
TV.
way bigger than I expected. Very, very much a bowl.
Hmm.
So it keeps all the sound in. So we can already hear people screaming and dancing and vibing. And I thought the World Cup had like the announcers did such a good job of getting the fans involved in like chants and singing, and everyone was like having a great time. So we get into our last line of the day to grab a drink. I get some buffalo wings for like 15 bucks. Not bad for like I think 12 wings. Um, Bash those. Katie got a Philly cheesesteak. Smash that. And we start walking down towards our seats and we find a fan booth and they have the FIFA fan ID. Very clutch,
Bang.
very clutch. I don't know if this is specific to the fans, so nobody look at my QR code. But basically this fan ID is pretty cool. It's got a lot of cool features with it. So if you go to the match, I'd highly recommend finding where you can get one of these. And basically, you get when you scan the QR code, you get a video from Giovanni Infantino, the president of FIFA, which is pretty funny. I kind of wanted to take it into the bathroom with me and hold it up over the urinal and screen record him sitting in the urinal. But you can also, get customized FIFA Matchday merch with your own photos from the game on it via the fan ID. I was also really bummed, apparently, because I didn't scan it till after the match. There was a gift for me to open,
Uh,
but I can't open it because the match ended. So I have no idea what it is.
Damn.
I
If
missed
someone
it.
was at the Algeria-Austria game, tell us
Yo,
what the FIFA
pipe,
fan gift is.
yeah, pipe up. Tell me what's going on. Um, so I'd highly recommend if you're going to a match day, get some charm bracelets, grab one of these guys, and you know, make the most of the day. So
Dude. Yeah,
that,
that sounds like fun. Just getting into the stadium sounds like
oh
a good
yeah,
time already.
it was a blast. So then actually getting to the match, we had just like walking down the steps to our seats, like I had major chills. Like I was on the verge of like being very emotional just because this is something I'd always dreamed of.
We made it to the seats. Yo, check this out. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
So we're going down the steps. We are sitting obviously with a bunch of my friend Katie's coworkers who were super kind, and there was a couple ball knowers there. So I, right after we sat down, I was like, "So, does Messi play for Austria or Algeria?" So made some friends off the bat, and then not too long after that, kickoff came, and my favorite part of the fan engagement is that countdown before kickoff, which I feel
Yeah.
like they've never done before. I think that's pretty new. Like they don't really do that at any other game. Like people are just chanting and cheering, but like having the announcer be like, "All right, count down with me. It's time for kickoff." And then everyone's like 10, 9.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It
It's
sounds good on
so
on
cool.
TV.
Let's count it down. 10, 9.
So cool. And then, of course, we get kickoff. So let's go ahead and get into this game a little bit because it was a cracking game. It was amazing.
It was. The storylines going into the game were kind of hilarious, though, Grayson. I think I saw that this match was being called the disgrace of Kansas City just because both teams were likely going through. I think there actually was a result before the game that meant the loser would be eliminated.
Right.
But essentially, both teams had an incentive to draw this game to get a lesser opponent in Sweden instead of Spain.
Right.
And they that was a storyline going into the game. We got to preface the game with
Yeah.
that neither team really wanted to win the game.
So that I was kind of expecting both teams to not really go for it,
Yeah.
but I was wrong, especially in this first half. The first half was awesome. We start off with Austria kind of controlling the game, probing, and trying to create something, but both teams are going back and forth, getting a lot of chances, and it's just an exciting match to watch. And we would get the opener through, of course, Marco Arnautovic, who had a crazy first touch off of I think a defender spraying the ball in over the top. Crazy first touch, great second touch to just tap it past the goalkeeper's leg and place it in the far right corner. Great start to the game. Super awesome. The scenes, the absolute scenes Everyone was cheering, of course, besides the Algerians. But it was a vibe. So that's in the 28th minute, and then we pretty much go into the I think the hydration break was right before that. And shout out all the fans for booing during that. I hope the players don't feel like we're booing them. Because honestly, I'm fine with them getting water. It's just everything else that's happening kind of sucks.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Jacob on this. I'm a little cynical about the hydration breaks. I think
Yeah,
that there is a place for them if it's like hot enough. But what did you think? Did you need a hydration break in Kansas City?
it was muggy, but that's another great thing about Arrowhead is it gets a great breeze like
Hmm.
going through the bowl. So I don't think the players need it. They're professional athletes. You can handle it. You can sneak a water break whenever the ball goes out or someone goes down injured. It's whatever.
Yeah.
These guys are conditioned. They're pros. They don't need it, but it is what it is. It's just the game now. Or at this World Cup, at least. I swear, if this follows out of the World Cup, I would be so angry.
Yeah, I don't love that idea.
So, moving on into the match, right before halftime, we get an equalizer from Rafik Begali. This goal was, I think, the best goal of the game, actually.
Okay.
Begali, it comes from a corner kick, but it bounces through, and he picks up the ball at the byline, and he faces two defenders up, hits a move, cuts inside, and puts it near post top corner to beat the keeper. Beautiful, beautiful goal. I was super excited. The stadium exploded with just Algeria freaking out. It was awesome. It was fantastic. So then we get halftime, and during halftime, I was like trying to decide. I was like, do I want to go sneak out and grab another beer? Nah, I'm gonna stay and just soak in the vibes. I'm tired of lines. We don't need it. And halftime was great. We were singing songs. It was pretty cool to see. They played Sweet Caroline at halftime, and everyone knew the words. Everyone knew the words.
That's
Uh,
dope.
with what they played a couple other like just classic American rock songs, and people were just living the dream. Algerian fans were belting the words. We had a bunch of Algerian fans behind us. Hey, shout out the Bosnian fans who were in front of me wearing Ed and Dzeko jerseys. Y'all are cool. Y'all are ball knowers. So anyways, after halftime in the 55th minute, so 10 minutes after halftime, we get a fantastic goal from my favorite player in this match, Marcel Sabitzer, who plays for Borussia Dortmund at the moment. So, of course,
Manchester United legend.
most known for, just hopping around the Bundesliga and just tearing it up with Leipzig. So Austria is back in the lead with a rocket from Savitzer, just a nice low-driven shot on the edge of the box. And
Yep.
yeah, back and forth, Austria takes a lead, and everyone's just super excited. It was pretty interesting because, yeah, Marcel Sabitzer is kind of known as a center attacking center mid. He was playing left wing
Yeah.
in this match, which was interesting, but it kind of fit really well, like surprisingly really well for him. But I
Yeah,
think
it did
that's
work
just
out for him.
the way Austria plays. It was pretty cool. Did you see this goal?
I did, and I thought that Austria at this point in the game, I thought Austria would not run away with it, but sit back with possession. I could not have been more wrong, though. I was just expecting the game to really cool off after a third goal in a game where I don't think many people were expecting much.
Well, not like literally 10 minutes after this, Algeria would go on to tie it up. And it was pretty funny because uh during this stint of possession for Algeria, Algeria really starts to control the game,
Yeah.
and it's all taking place on the left side of the pitch. And Riyad Mahrez is chilling on an island on the right side, and everyone's screaming, Mahrez, get the ball to Mahrez. And what do? They get it to Mahrez, and he immediately tucks it in at the far post, beating the keeper once again to tie it up. It was incredible. Easily the best player on the field. But during that first half, he looked like he was having a stinker.
Yeah, pretty silent. Pretty silent for the most part. It did seem like Algeria came out into the second half renewed, and once they gained possession of the ball, they really grew into the game. And I got the sense that they were almost creating a little bit of misdirection. Like, yeah, we're gonna play with the ball on this side of the field. Okay, now we're gonna find our best player, and he punished him.
We should have seen that coming. Well, this next period of the game was not so fun. It was pretty fun in a way. I'll explain. So at this point, it's 2-2, and like Ethan explained, no one really wants to win this match. So for about, let's see, what is it? From the 60th minute up until the 90th minute, pretty much. So
Jeez, man.
it's all Algeria passing the ball between their defense, just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And it like they teased us because they'd start it to look like they're gonna progress it with their wingbacks, and then they just turn around and pass it back to the center backs. And at some point, it gets so ridiculous. The center backs are 10 feet away from each other, just playing one touch passing, just bing, 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 bing.
I mean, yeah, this sequence is it almost felt disrespectful to soccer, but thankfully there was still a bit of respect going on.
Yeah. And I got a lot of laughs at this point because I was getting extremely angry, and so was everyone else near me. So we all started booing and just letting them have it because just play the game. So
Hmm.
I remember I stood up and I was like, entertain me, please. And Riyad Mahrez must have heard because he would also seem like he got pretty annoyed with it too and just
Yeah.
took the ball himself and smashed it home for what looked like a game winner for Algeria.
Okay, I just witnessed the worst 30 minutes of soccer I've ever seen in my life, only for it to end with an Algeria goal. And a beautiful goal as that. Algeria, I hate you. I love you. Let's go!
Yeah, this was late in the game.
Yeah, this was in the 93rd minute, right at the death. Tucks it bottom left corner. And this one, it was quite a shock. Like, it seemed like Austria did not expect this to come through either
Definitely not.
because it really came out of nowhere.
Did you see where I saw a clip of Austrian players yelling at the Algerian bench as if almost as if an arrangement had been made
And
and then
they,
broken?
yeah, really. I did not see that, but I wouldn't be surprised.
It could, and that's all speculation on social media, but I think what it could have been is this is really how you guys are playing the game. I think it was
Right.
something like 190 something passes in the lead up to that Mahrez goal. That's just unbelievable. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm not saying that there was any collusion, but my tinfoil hat is on when it comes to this game. I'll say
Yeah.
that.
It was pretty rough. Actually, uh, in the 92nd minute, thanks to FOTMob here, the FOTMob, the commentary
Hmm.
says Conrad Leimer is stretching mid-game. Algeria just keep on passing it around. Must be as agonizing stuff if you're an Iranian football fan.
It must have been because Iran was hoping that one team would lose so that they could advance. And I guess maybe they thought that Austria was going down for probably what, 60 seconds? How long did it take, Grayson?
It took, let's see, exactly 3 minutes, and a lot of that time was spent during substitutions. So yeah, literally at the flip flip side, like right after kickoff, it's Austria pressing, 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 trying to get their goal, and they would do it at the death of the game, and they would pull out a draw here, and it was kind of interesting. Part of me was like, did Algeria just fold because they like felt bad that they just smashed one past Austria? But it really didn't look like it. It looked like this was a well-earned Austrian
Yeah.
goal, very well worked and very desperate, but they would pull it out to earn a draw there, and it would be Austria uh, above Algeria in the table because of goal differential.
Yep.
So it'll definitely be interesting to see how they fare in the next round to see if how important this was in terms of, you know, the rest of the World Cup.
Honestly, Grayson, I don't know. I think that both of their opponents, at least on paper, are better than them. But one thing is for sure, out of all the World Cup games, this was definitely not one to miss. I think it was one that a lot of people had already written off just because Argentina was playing. It was the literal final game of the group stage, and really the only implications were which of the two teams were going to be who they would play in the next round.
Right.
So I think that a lot of people were definitely sleeping on this game and unfortunately missed a popcorn muncher because this game had it all. I was really impressed by all the goals and the late drama. I mean, how much of that have we seen in this World Cup so far? So, how was it experiencing it in person? Like getting to see that last minute, it had to feel like a winner for if you're from the perspective of
Oh,
an Austrian fan.
for
It seems like
sure.
the roof probably blew off that place.
Yeah, especially because the nature of the game leading up to those two goals. I thought I was just going to end 2-2, and it honestly would have left a bad taste in my mouth knowing that like we had such a fantastic first half and beginning to the second half, and
Yeah.
then just to have the game die because of like external factors, it would have really ruined it for me. But, that's the nature of the tournament. You have to think long term.
Yeah, there
Uh,
is an element of strategy that comes into it when you're playing in the World Cup. So I don't blame either team necessarily for not going out for a win. I think it is a little bit disappointing just in the general soccer scheme. I think it also brings up an interesting point about the head-to-head versus goal differential
mhm.
ruling and how that plays an impact in placing. I I don't think I mind it in a tournament setting just because it makes sense to me that if two teams on the same amount of points and goal difference, or if one has a better goal difference, but Austria beat Algeria, they would advance over Algeria. That makes sense to me. I don't think it could be applied in a good way in a league setting necessarily,
Mhm.
but for the even in its early flawed state, I don't mind it initially. I think that it bears well for if potentially the tournament expands to 64 teams, which I think we all see coming at this point.
I I'm very happy with the size of the bracket this year and just being able to see a lot of smaller teams make it in, and it provides, room for big upsets like we're experiencing today. So,
Definitely.
you know, seeing it in person, we got to witness 6 goals total. Um, and it was overall an incredible day. People were high-fiving at the end of the match just because we got some action. We got to enjoy an incredible World Cup match. Even though I'm
Best
not an
case
Austrian
scenario,
or Algerian, I was so invested and rooting for both teams actively. just a fan of footy. I'm just here for the vibes. And there were
That is that is
a
a
lot of
win.
fans there. Definitely a win. And it was cool to see because there wasn't a loser, both teams came out and went to their respective supporter sections and walked out and did chants with their fans, and nobody
That's cool.
left heartbroken. Austria was happy they went through. Algeria was happy they went through. So overall, it was a great end to the day.
Man, what a time, Grayson. What a time. Okay, now that you've been to the World Cup, I'm assuming I know the answer, but I'll ask for podcasting purposes. Would you recommend going to the World Cup, Grayson? Yeah, make sure and really think about this one.
Of course. The World Cup is really truly something special. It it almost transcends sports itself. Like it gave like it's definitely a different feeling than going to see your daily club and support them. I love St. Louis City,
Yeah.
but it almost felt like just so different. It almost felt like a different game, like a different sport. Just
Wow.
the World Cup just brings so much aura.
Yeah, dude, it does. Like one thing that I've been very impressed with at this World Cup has been the anthems and the walkout, for lack of a better term, that the teams do before the game. I think that's been an incredible addition. It really makes you feel, for me, the scope of the World Cup and seeing the whole team, seeing the flags out on the field like that. It just makes me every time a game is starting, I'm like, oh yeah, this is what we wait for every 4 years. This is what we consider to be such an important event. And you can see why. You can see all the time and effort that went into it and how many people it takes just to make the opening of the game happen, nonetheless, the
Mhm.
actual game. So, yeah, on TV, it's everything I could have ever wanted and more. So, I'm imagining that in person is very much the same.
Oh yeah. And it's really incredible. And even the post game, like leaving the stadium was just a crazy experience. We were sitting decently close, so we went down to the pitch and took some photos for a while. And I have one more collectible to show you guys. So if you go to a World Cup match, after the game, they hand out these Coca-Cola collectible cups that have the specific game you go to,
Hey.
the date, the stadium, and the match number. Speaking of, this was match 69. So,
Nice,
pretty
dude.
crazy, pretty crazy. And there were 69,000 people there.
Super nice.
Coincidence? I think not. But hey, I have someone to shout out for. So these were actually way harder to find than I thought. They're supposed to be at every concession stand, but I think people were just being greedy and grabbing like 20 at a time. Because I saw people walking around with stacks of them that were not budging, were not giving any away. So I was very sure that I was not leaving with one. But then I saw this one concession stand worker closing up by himself who had two. And I went up to him and I was like, "Hey, are these the last two?" And he was like, "No, these are my personal ones that I just grabbed. Sorry." It's like, "Hey, no big deal. Thank you. I appreciate it anyways. Uh, have a great night." Me and Katie are walking away and he's like, "Hey, you know what? Come back." He chugs his drink and hands me the two cups. What a
Uh,
guy. What a
yeah,
legend.
legend.
Shout out. And another legend to mention, as we're walking away, a shirtless dude runs up to us. He's like, "Hey, where'd you get the cups?" I was like, I got really lucky. Like, I really don't know. Like, I couldn't tell you at this point. And he goes, "All right, $100 for the cup." I was probably dumb and I was like, you know what? For the memories, I'm keeping this cup. Sorry, dude.
Wow.
But Katie was like, "Hell yeah, give me $100 for the cup." So shout out, bro. He got us a crisp $100 bill. for
$100 for a free
for the
cup is
collectible cup. I
crazy.
know. I know. So who knows? These could be very expensive in the future. But either way, it was just a crazy story.
Seems like they're very expensive now for at least someone out
Starting
there.
price $100, just so you know.
Well, Grayson, before we wrap this episode up, I have got to know. You acquired a large quantity of popcorn on your way out of the stadium. How on earth
I
did
was going to talk to
you
you about that.
get this?
So we're leaving, and we're walking through, and there's like stairs going up to leave, and there's just an army of Algerian fans, so you can't even go up the stairs. So we had to go past the staircase we were gonna go on to leave, and there's 7 bags filled to the brim with popcorn. And as a former movie theater manager, I know that this is most likely free popcorn at the end of the night. So I jokingly was like, "Hey, do we grab some popcorn?" And there was nobody standing next to them. So I went up to the a random worker who was walking by and I was like, "Hey, are these, free? Can I take a bag?" And he was like, probably not free, but I don't know." Okay. And I was like, "Okay,
Screw it.
I'll tell everyone that you tried to stop me. How about that?" Uh, so did a photo shoot with the popcorn. I'll throw throw that up now. And honestly, it was kind of a move because the amount of popcorn jokes I got to make leaving the stadium and in the final line to get back on the buses to get back downtown, people were loving the popcorn bit. I got well, every drunk fan wanted popcorn, so I'll be like, all right, $100. But I would just give it to him for free. Because it's free popcorn. Come on. And it was good
Yeah,
popcorn. It was good popcorn. So made a bunch of friends, the people in front of us in line, got a bunch of
it's hilarious.
popcorn, and we're loving the jokes. Got on the bus, took the popcorn home, and then gave it to my host for the weekend. They got them a bunch of popcorn for breakfast. How about that? So
Breakfast of champs. That's amazing.
it was overall a fantastic trip, fantastic experience, and I really am like still buzzing, like it just incredible. And now I'm just gonna speak it into existence. This is not the last World Cup match I will see,
Yeah.
and also I think all three City Boys are gonna be at the next one that I go to for
Yeah.
sure, for sure.
Yeah, I think all three city boys need to have our passports ready for the Spain Morocco combination, or in case we
Oh
get
yeah.
down to Argentina, and is it Paraguay or Uruguay with the I think maybe it's both
Oh,
for the
20
centenarial.
2034. I don't
No,
know. Oh,
2030.
2030.
Yeah, there's like a
Wow.
centenarial match that they're hosting
It's got to be Uruguay because they
there's
were
definitely one in
the original
Argentina.
hosts. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it is Uruguay, but I can't remember if there's also one in Paraguay. I know that there's a P country involved. I just can't remember for sure which one. So yeah, and also 2031 World Cup, Grayson, the Women's World Cup. You know where that's
Yeah.
gonna be?
Is that one here?
Stateside again, baby. So yeah, we're World Cup bound in the next 5 years, no matter what. I'll tell you that.
It's happening. Lock it in. And you know who knows who's gonna have this patch on for that. So I'm so excited to finish this World Cup, but I'm so terrified for it to end, dude. I cannot. I'm so conflicted. I can't wait to watch the MLS again, but I don't want this to be over.
Yeah, dude, for me, this is the best World Cup so far. And
I agree.
2014 really stands out to me. The Brazilian World Cup was just incredible. I have really fond memories of 2010 just because that was my first one.
Hmm.
2018 and 22 were very meh in comparison to this, though. This one has been what you imagine when you describe the World Cup.
So close to home, like it really has. It is brought everyone together for once. Like the past 10 years in America have been extremely divisive and awful. So not only USA sticking together for once, but also the rest of the world getting to experience America and see all the good parts that we have to offer. And hopefully, America can learn a lot from this, and we will, everyone will grow, and, there'll be a lot of positives coming from the World Cup on the other end of it. And I'm very excited to see what that'll bring. And just so excited for this. What a time.
What a time. And Grayson, honestly, that seems like a perfect bow to put on this episode. Is there anything else that you want to mention about your World Cup experience before we wrap it up?
Not really. I think we got everything. Once again, just thank you, Katie, for making my dreams come true. I don't know how I'll ever repay you. I did tell her, uh, locking it in, I will get her World Cup tickets in return at some point. We'll figure it out. It's gonna happen.
Nice, nice, nice.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
So-
All right, everybody. Well, with that being said, thank you for listening this far. If you've made it this far, make sure and drop a like and comment if you're on YouTube, and like and rate us 5 stars if you're on Spotify. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow us on Spotify. But most importantly, do not forget to tell your mother you love her. Peace.
Peace.
USA.
USA. USA.
All right, game ends 3-3. One of the craziest tie games I've ever seen in my life. Algeria almost ruined it by just time wasting for legit 20 minutes of passing between center backs. But we're here. I'm losing my voice if you couldn't tell. What a game. My first ever World Cup match. It's not going to be the last for sure. But we're out here and we love it. Let's go.
St. Louis City Boys, what it do? From the arch to the booth, we talk about you. City Boys in the loop. City Boys in the loop. City Boys. Turn it up, run it back, that's the crew. That's the crew. From the stands to the streets, we true. St. Louis, City Boys in the loop. Red smoke in the sky. Game day in our eye. Every play, every fight, we gon' break it down right. City Boys in the loop. City Boys in the loop. City Boys. Turn it up, run it back, that's the crew. That's the crew. From the stands to the streets, we true.